Sure, this time's easier.
Hi there, this is Vanessa Ho again, and in this video, we will welcome back Jos, a friend of us who originally from Australia and now currently living in Da Nang, Vietnam. And today our topic is sharing about his own personal experience of being engaged to a Vietnamese woman. Okay, so hi Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Vanessa. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming back to my to our channel. Okay, so my question is, first of all, what brought you to Vietnam? Because I know you're from Australia.
So I was on a bit of a hiatus from work. Took a year off as a digital nomad. I was planning to go come speak for a friend's company in Vietnam. So he asked me to come speak for KEAP. And that was supposed to be 1 or 2 months maximum. It's now, I think, almost 10 months later. I met a girl, found a place, started to grow my business here. So Vietnam's an incredible place.
I see. So you didn't intend to stay there for a long time, but now it seems like it's going to be your resolution, the solution for it. Exactly. So how, of course, with my channel, I know that definitely my audience would love to know, how did you meet your Vietnamese fiancés?
So we met through Facebook dating of all places, just as most guys do, going through and killing a bit of time. But I think on speaking to her, she was really incredible. So we went on a date. It's actually a really good story. So we were talking for maybe 2 weeks before we actually met for the date. She knew I went to coffee shops a lot, so she said, no, you can't go to a coffee shop again. We're going to this restaurant. She was fairly adamant on it. I get to the restaurant that she mentioned. It was a place that had been bulldozed maybe a month or so earlier. So it was an empty lot. I'm just sitting there going, what is going on here? So then eventually she came. We had a bit of laugh about it, took a photo, and then we went to a banh mi place and then a dessert place here.
Awesome, great. Oh, I just want to mention to my audience that Joe just mentioned banh mi place, which means that I did one of the video regarding the Vietnamese food, the popular food, that's banh mi. Yeah. So it's almost like a Vietnamese banquet or Vietnamese sandwich. Yeah.
I'm gonna put the Vietnamese way.
Yeah, it's funny how I heard that, because actually that's kind of similar story between me and Alex on our first date. He asked me where did I want to go, and I say Thai restaurant, and then we end up get lost because of the constructions and all that.
Yeah, so it was I don't want to take story thunder, but we were supposed to go meet at this Thai restaurant around the Dallas. At the time we lived in Dallas, Texas, and Dallas at the time still does have some of the worst construction possible around the airport. And we both got so massively lost. And back then we didn't have the kind of GPS we do now. Anyway, so it was like each of us was an hour and a half late, but we still managed to pull it off. So it's kind of like a variation of yours.
Yeah, we also go to the small Waffle House, and we have like apple pie and orange juice. That was our first date too. So yeah. So the next question I think that even myself and a lot of my audience would wondering and would love to know is, how did you know she's the one?
I'm one of those weird guys who likes to write things down. So about a year before I met her, I got very specific on who I wanted personality-wise and like core traits and someone I'd actually want to marry. I wrote that down on paper, goals for relationships, and who I wanted to be, who I needed to be to achieve being the person in my life. When I met her, she pretty much ticked off every one of those boxes. And then as I got to know her more, she completely, like, the full package of what I wanted. Like, it was almost a year to the date, so that was quite interesting.
Wow, that's awesome. I heard some similar stories from some of my friends, some of my Vietnamese ladies friends. Yeah, she said she did have a checklist, and she met her husband that way too.
Nice.
All right. And then the next question, I believe that because you're from Australia and then she's in Vietnam, so definitely it's going to be a lot of difference in culture. So can you share some of the big one that you guys have faced?
It's usually something down to communication or what people mean. I think most of the time it's funny. Like, most recently, her definition of what a few means is very different to my definition of what a few means. Like she thought like a few is 6 or 7. I'm thinking a few is 1 to 3, but that's fine. Otherwise, we haven't had too many major conflicts over culture and communication. Mostly because when we started the relationship, I said, look, if you want to date me, I'm going to be a very difficult person to date in some ways. I'm not a standard guy because I do have business, I do work a lot, and if you can't deal with that, we're probably better not dating. And secondly, we are from different cultures, so at some point there's going to be a cultural or communication issue that we need to understand how to go through that together and say, okay, is there a misunderstanding here, or is there something deeper that we just need to address? So we're very upfront on that. I think that's what a lot of the guys that come and start relationships here don't do. They don't set that expectation that there is going to be cultural conflict and communication conflicts that you need to understand. And things like what's important to a Vietnamese girl may not even be on the radar for a Western guy. So something what's important to them.
So clear expectation and kind of knowing, I guess before meeting her, you had a clear expectation of who you were looking for. And then also after you two became a couple, or at least start dating, you were really clear upfront what the expectations are and how to resolve those.
Anyone from any relationships will have issues, but if you're dating someone from a different culture and a different second language, you need to be very clear about what's to be expected, and that there are going to be conflicts at some point, but how you want to resolve it as a couple.
Right.
A lot of people didn't do that, so it caused some major headaches for them, but they've now resolved those issues. But it would have been easier if they just discussed that from the very beginning.
Right. I know this. I know we have limited time here, but I was very curious about this because we've had this question from some of our viewers. You were actually starting to write to me in Vietnamese, which really surprised me because most folks, it's not that. Well, depending on which like written is once you get the hang of straightforward. The speaking is what caught me off guard. You were actually speaking to me, which I thought was very impressive. I mean, just in your experience, are you doing that just to stay closer, or was that actually something you felt like you had to do just to communicate with her?
You can speak English here and get away with it. You could speak English, you go to English pubs, you could hang around only Caucasian people if you really wanted to, but that kind of doesn't, I think it takes away from being the experience of being here. Like if you want to be in a country, you want to experience its culture. So when I got to Saigon, I started learning numbers, and then as I traveled through Vietnam, I learned other bits, and obviously being with my fiance, I've learned quite a bit more. And then our friends and partners are Vietnamese too, so I pick up little bits and pieces as time progresses.
Yeah, I think in the future video, I think it'd be worthwhile to kind of get your perspective on, what are some unusual things that you have to kind of, at least see when first learning the language. But that's probably a call for another day. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with Vanessa before we wrap up?
No, I think we can just wrap up here since Jos got to go for his appointment. And once again, thanks so much for coming up here with us and share some of your insights. It's really wonderful, especially from from you as a Western guy who live and working and currently engaged to a Vietnamese woman. And that's what my channel basically is about. So once again, thanks so much, Jos, and you have a great day. We're definitely gonna invite you back for more.
No worries. We'll talk to you guys very soon.
Thanks, Jos.
Thank you.